Happy day to all. Today we are going to see the previous year NET exam question in programming language. Yes, let's go. The first question, consider the following statements: integer I equal to 4, j equal to 3 and k equal to 0. And then they give some expression k equal to plus I and minus j. What will be the values of I, j and k after the statement? So for these types of question, first you have to draw the memory location. First I and j and k. Okay. So initially what is the value for I is 4, j is 3, k is 0. Okay. So and then you have to understand what is pre-increment and post-increment. Plus j. Plus j means what happens actually. Plus j means it will increment the value of j and then assign to j. Okay. So initially it will increment the value and then it will take the value. Plus j plus plus. This is called as an post increment. This is called as an pre-increment and this is called as an post increment. In a post increment, whatever the value present in the j location, first it will take the value from the memory location and then after that it will increment it. Okay. It will increment the value and it will assign to the memory location and from the memory location the value is taken. But here it will take the memory location whatever the value is present and then it will increment the value. So now you can see this plus I. This is plus I means pre-increment, right? So pre-increment means, so you can write it k equal to plus I minus j, okay, this, then plus I plus then minus j plus j plus, right? So plus I means what? Pre-increment. So it will become 5. So in this memory location this will be happen 4. Instead of 4 it will be 5 now. So then minus, write it as it is. Then minus j. So again pre-increment. So I am taking 3 to 2. Then plus I plus, that is first I will take the value of I. This is post increment. So I have taken the value of I and then I will increment the memory location. So be clear in this step. This is an post increment. So whatever the value which is present in the memory, that value is taken and then it will increment it. Okay. Then minus j, that is pre-increment, that is 2 will become 1, right? Then plus j plus, which will again taken the j value here and here it will become 2. Okay. What is the I value? Now it is 6 and j value is 2. Okay. And then 5 plus 5, 10, 11 minus 3, that is equal to 8. So 6, 2, 8 is the answer. So option C is the answer. So work out this slowly on your notebook so that it will be very clear for you. The next, what is the value of arithmetic expression written in C 2 into 3 divided by 4 minus 3 divided by 4 into 2? So normally it will follow the Bodmer's rule. What is Bodmer's? Bracket and then of division, multiplication, addition and then subtraction. So division and multiplication is normally equal priority. Division and multiplication is normally equal priority. In this case, if the priority is equal, then it will follow from left to right. So the given expression, write down 2 divided by 2 into 3 divided by 4 minus 3 divided by 4 into 2. So here multiplication and division is equal priority. At that time what it will do? It will do from left to right. So 2 3s are 6 divided by 4 minus 3 slash 4 into 2. So what happens? So 3 divided by 4. Division is an highest priority, right? So just you do this. Okay. So now you can 6 divided by 4 is the highest priority, and then here 3 by 4, and then only multiplication and then subtraction. 6 divided by 4, it will become 1.5 minus, here it will become 0. So 0.7, right? So it will take only the 0 because it is defined as an integer. So 0 into any number zeros, and then 1.5 is converted into 1 minus 0, that is equal to 1 is the answer. Because they are not mentioned any float value, any float data type. So this will be considered as an integer data type, and it will take only the integer. Yes. Character star str abcd. So here defined as str is a string data type. It consists of a, b and c and d and e. And now you can see this star str. Star str means it will initially str is located str of 0. So here printf percentage %c star str means it will print a. Okay, output will be, the first point is a. The next one is printf %c star str plus plus. Even though it is plus plus, it is a post increment. First it will print the current value is a, and it will increment the location str1. Okay, in a second printf statement. And then next it will printf %c str plus plus. Now it will print the current value of the memory location, and then it will increment the value. Understood? So it will print the current location as b, and then it will increment the location to c. And this str is pointed now c. Now the str is pointed to c, right? This str is, after this 3 statement, it is pointed out c. And then, so what happened? Printf % str. So after that, this str, okay, after that whatever is present, this print as it is. Okay, so now I didn't give any star, it is given as str. So after whatever the character is present, it will print out. So a, b, c, d, e is the answer, right? Yes. The next one, the dynamic binding occurs through the dynamic binding occurs during the runtime, okay, which is already we have seen that in a polymorphism also. It is dynamic binding is happen at the runtime, static binding is happen at the compile time. The next question, consider the following sequence of instruction: a equal to a exclusive b, and b equal to a exclusive b, and again a equal to b exclusive. So this sequence, what happens? So you consider some variable a and b. Okay, this is 3 and 5. So what happens? A equal to a exclusive b. So that is a value is 0, 1, 1 consider, and then b value is 1, 0, 1. So if you do exclusive means 0, 1, 1. So a exclusive b means what? A bar b plus b a bar, right? So that is 0, 1, the answer will be 1, and 1, 0, the answer will be 1. 0, 0 and 1, 1, the answer is 0. So here 1, 1, if this is the answer is 0, 1, 0, that is 1, here it is 1. So now the value of a is 1, 1, 0, that is 4 plus 2, 6. Now the a value is 6. Then b equal to a exclusive b, the second statement. So what happens? B equal to a exclusive. What is the value of a? That is 6, 1, 1, 0. And what's the b value? 1, 0, 1. So what happened? This is 1, 1. So 1, 1, 0. So this will become 3. Okay. Now again the third statement. A equal to b exclusive a. So what is the b value now? 3, 0, 1, 1. And what is the a value? And 6, 1, 1, 0. So what happens? So 1, 0, 1, that is equal to 5. So this will become 5. So what happened after this statement is executed? A value is became 5 and B value becomes 3. Initially A is 3, B equal to 5. So this sequence swaps the A and B value. It retains the value of A and B? No, it changed. It complement the value? No. It negates the value? No. It swaps the value of A and B is the correct answer. The next question. What is the output of the following C program? Main, printf %d %d. So size of float is here 4, and then if it is not given, this will be considered as double or long. So now the size of this value is 8. So option B is the correct answer. The next question. The bitwise OR of 35 with 7. So 35 you have to find out the binary value of 35, 17 to 30. Then remainder 1, 2, 8 to 16, 1, and then 2, 2 to 4, 1, 0. So write down 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1. And then for 7 it is 4, 2, 1, right? 1, 2, 4, 8 to 4, 0, 0, 0. So now you can do the OR. 1 into 1, 1, that is 1, 1, 1, 1. 0, 1, that is 1, 0, 0, then again 1. So what is the value for this? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So add wherever 1 is present. 32 plus 4, 36, 38, 39. So 39 is the answer. I hope you understand. Wherever 1 is present, you have to add the 32 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1, that is equal to 39 is the answer. The next question. Data members and member function of a class by default is respectively. Data members and member functions or defaultly it is private. Whenever you define as a public, then only it will become public. It will be accessible to everywhere in the program. The next one. Function overloading done at compile time. Okay, you are not switching from function to function. It is not a linking time. It's not a runtime. Function overloading is done at compile time. The next question. What will be the value of I for the following expression? Consider f equal to 11, I equal to 3. I plus equal to f slash. This is a ternary operator, right? So condition is true. It will do after this question mark. If the condition is false, it will do after this true. Okay, false. The condition is false, it will do after this semicolon. Okay, so now you can see this, what happens. So if f is 11, okay, 11 is greater than 3, yes. Yes means I and 2. After the question mark, what is the statement? I and 2. So what is the I value? 3. That is 0, 1, 1. 2 is 0, 1, 0. So if you do AND, so 1 into 1 dot 0, 0, and 1 dot 1, 1. So 0. So what is the value? 0, 1, 0. That is equal to 2. They said that I plus equal to 2 now. Okay. That means what? I equal to I plus 2. What is already value of I is 3. So 3 plus 2, that is equal to 5 is the answer. That is not a 2 because they have given I plus equal to. Okay, be careful in this. The next question. What is the output of the following program segment? Main, int count, digit equal to 0. So initially 2 variables, write down count and digit. Okay, the digit value is 0. Then the next step, count is 1. So while digit is less than or equal to 9, so 0 is less than 9, yes, it will enter into the loop. So printf %d plus plus count. Plus plus count means it will increment the value 2 and then it will print the value digit. What is the value of digit is 0. Now it is 1. The next time it will go and check. If it is 2, digit is 1 is less than s, yes. It will come again 2 plus 1, 3. then it will become 2, and then it is 4 means it is 3, 5 means it is 4, and 6 and 7 means it is 6. Okay, 8, 9. When the count is 10, it is 9. So if it is 9 means it will go 9 is less than or equal to 9. Yes, so again it will enter into this loop. Now the count value is 11. So 11, and then it will become, the digit value became 10. So now it will go to the condition and check. This condition is false. Now it will quit. So the count value is now, it is 11 is the answer. The next question. In the following loop, loop is implemented. So integer num equal to 0, the statement is correct. Do minus minus num, correct. Printf percentage d number comma num plus plus. Okay, so here it is not given, the semicolon is missing, so there will be compilation error reported. So the statement do, syntax is do, then set of statements, and while condition semicolon. So here the semicolon is missing, so there will be an compilation error reported. The next question, this is a macro statement, hash define max x comma y, x equal to x greater than y. If the x is greater than y, x will be assigned. This is again a ternary operator, x will be assigned to here, and if y is greater, y will be assigned. It's a macro definition which can find the maximum of two numbers x and y if both are declared as integers. X and y are both integers only? No. Whatever the value, okay, if you are defining as a macro, the purpose of macro is for whatever the data type, it will be assigned automatically and it will perform for all the data type. So x and y are both integers, float or double, whatever the value, it will execute. That is the use of macro function. Once you define a particular macro, you can use it for all the data types. The function sprint works like printf but operates on string. Okay, it is similar like a printf statement, but it will be work out for the string. The next one, the dynamic binding occurs during the runtime. So just already said, dynamic means runtime. So at the time of run, you are running the program, it will execute. The next question, when a function is recursively called, all automatic variables, what happens when you are called the function recursively? All the automatic variables are retained from the last execution. Okay, so for example, max of n, if I called max of n, what happens? Or fact of n, okay, you consider fact, this way frequently we execute, right, this factorial. So fact of n, what happens? Fact of 5. So what happens? Again 5 will be retained and again called fact of n minus 1, that is 4, fact of n minus 1. So again this 4 is retained and fact of n minus 1, 4 minus 1, 3. So it will be go on 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So it will give the factorial value 5 for 20, 60, 120, right? So it will retain its data from the last execution, that is recursive, which is performed in the stack. The next one, enumerator variable can be used in search statement like an integer variable. So enumerator, enum, so data type, right, some set of statements and some values, right. For example, enum day equal to Sunday, Monday, and etc. So here it is assigned as 0, 1, 2, some values automatically. So it is like a search statement like an integer variable. The next one, int array. So you are assigning some array 1, 2, 3, 4, int count, increment, return plus plus count. And then main function, array of count plus plus. So what happened initially? It will go to the main function and here array of count plus plus. So first you write the variable count. So initially they are not declared any value. So count will be initialized as 0. So whenever you call that increment function, it will return plus plus count. So but it will first go to the main function. In a main function, array count plus plus, that is post increment. ARR of 0 location equal to increment, that is count value is 1. Okay, so count value is now, it is 1. Okay, so this ARR of 0 will assign the value 1. Printf ARR count, so first 0, now it is 1, and printf ARR count equal to this. So what is the value of count is, now it is count value. So we have to observe the count value. Here it is incremented one time, okay, 1, and then it is incremented here also 2 times, okay. So 1 and 2, so 2 times incremented. Now the count variable value is 2. Printf ARR count equal to percentage %d. So it will print this value, okay, ARR of 2. So what is the value in array location 2? So this array location of 0 is here, and in one location it is 2, and in 2 location it is 3. So the answer is 3. The next question. When one dimensional character array of unspecified length is assigned as an initial value, so whenever you are defining or assigning an character array, okay, so what happen if you are unspecified the length? An arbitrary character is automatically added to the end of the string, and slash null, this is not a 0, the slash 0 is added to the end of the string. So option B, this one is the correct answer. Okay, whenever you are defining some string, so this string, null string is added at the end of the string. The next question, the declaration unsigned u indicates u is an unsigned integer, that is just a data type declaration. The next one, the following loop in C, integer I equal to 0 while I plus plus is less than 0. So I plus plus is a post increment. So I value is 0. 0 is less than 0? No. So it will terminate the loop, right? No. While 0 is less than 0, the condition is true, right? So what happens? I condition is false. So normally it will terminate, or it will go into an infinite loop depending on the C version. Okay, just you execute that. The next question, in case of right shift bitwise operator in C language, after shifting a bits, the leftmost n bits. So if you are right shifting, okay, so right shifting is 3. So if the variable a is shifted to right shift, so what happens, the left side of n bits is filled with 0, filled with zeros. So the value something like that 0 1 1 means if you are something this value, consider this, if I am a equal to this, so I am right shifting 3. So right shifting 3 means what happens, 1 0 1, and the remaining portion will be added as 0, filled with zeros, or this may be filled with ones also, depends on the machine dependent. So filled with zeros or filled with ones, or C option is or filled with zeros or ones and is machine dependent. So based on the machine dependent, it is filled zeros or ones in the left side. The next question, what keyword in class specification helps to hide data? So hide data, it's just private. So private is the keyword which is used to hide the data. The next question, what is the output of the following C program? So what is the output of the following C program? Main. So -1 is written as, So in a 16-bit 00000000, right? So now I have to find out, this is -1, so I have to find out the 2's complement, right? So convert this into 1's complement. So this is 1's and 2's means adding plus 1, right? Then 1 1 1 1 1 1 0. So if you are adding this, so what is the value? 1 1 1 1 this. But they said that right shift of 4, right shift of 4. So the right 4 values will be shifted and it will be added as 0 or f, depends on the machine. So if you added 0 means what happened? The value will be 0 f f f. Or if you are added 1 in this place, so the value will be f f f. Okay. So this will be called as an FFF. So option A or B will come. Depends on the machine. The next question. Runtime polymorphism can be achieved by accessing virtual function through the pointer of a base class, accessing virtual function through the object, the derived class. Accessing virtual function through the pointer of the base class, runtime polymorphism is achieved. It is not about the derived or virtual class. The next one, which one of the following is an object oriented approach? So in an OOAD book we used to study, right? Booch method, Rumbe method, Code and Yamdown method. So option D is the all the above is the answer. Answer D. The next one, which one of the following is a valid C code to print character A to C? If I want to print A to C, which statement is correct? So this is an option A. So x equal to A, switch x. So case A. So it will print A and then it will print B and C, right? Then here x equal to A. So case. So here there is no condition. So it is wrong. And option C, what happened? Case A, print. So here they given a break statement. Break statement means it quit the loop. So B and C won't print, right? So break will quit the loop. So B and C won't print. The next option D is switch x. Case A is print x. Case B equal to they have given, right? So this is a wrong one, wrong indication. So in this all the options are wrong. Here they have to give this colon. If they are given the colon here means option D will be right answer. So here also there are mistake in the question itself it is wrong. So if they are given colon means then it will work out. So x is assigned as A, switch x, so it will go to the case A, it will print A and then B and then C. So all the subsequent cases are executed because there is no break is present, right? Yes. Option D is the answer for this. If it is given as colon here. The next one, which of the following is not true in C++? Private element of a base class are not accessible by member of its derived class. Private elements of a base class are not accessible by the member of its derived class. That is true. Protected element of base class are not accessible by member of its derived class. When base class access specified as public, okay, when base class is specified as public, public elements of the base class become public member of its derived class. This is true. When base class access specified is public, protected element of a base class became protected member of its derived class. These kind of statement they just give for confusion. So you know this, they are asking which is not true in C++. So here you can see this protected elements of base class are not accessible by member of its derived. So protected members are accessible by its derived class. So this is not true. Okay, this is true, this is true. So option B, they are asked the question which is not true in C++. protected members are accessible in its derived classes. That is the statement, right? Here they have given in a B statement, protected elements of a base class are not accessible by member of its derived. So it is wrong. So I have chosen the option B. The next one, which of the following is true of constructor function in C++? A class constructor must have at least one constructor. No. And a constructor is a unique function which cannot be overloaded. No, it can be class constructor with different arguments. You can overload it. The next one, a constructor function must be invoked with the object name. No, it is not an object name. It should be the class name. A constructor function is automatically invoked when an object is created. So this and all wrong. This is the correct answer. So class A. This is whenever you are defining a function A, this is called as a constructor. See out constructor. So whenever the object is called, this function is automatically called.